Here we have an open vented crawl space. There's a drain. Apparently there's been some flooding here. It's significantly below the outside grade. There are signs of insects such as spiders, cave crickets, maybe rodents eating their way through the screens. There is mold up on the joists. Discolored insulation suggests that at certain times condensation is forming on the insulation. In areas where the air ducts are and there's no insulation, there's mold up on the subfloor, and this pattern is caused by insects harvesting the mold that's on the air ducts, which indicates that the air ducts condensate. So all of this mold on the bottom of the ducts is here because at some time they condensate. And when they condensate, they drip moisture onto the moisture barrier. So here, this distribution box, even though it's insulated, is soaking wet. So it's not performing any of its insulation. It's not insulating. And then you can see the mold on the outside of the ducts. There's a lot of puddles of water that are in the crawl space. However, there's no flood line, so it looks like it's all coming off the ductwork. And that's why you have mold growth on the ductwork. We have slugs that want to come in here, indicating that it stays constantly moist. And then we have holes that mice have made to get on in. Here we have condensation that's forming on the back side of the moisture barrier, which is covering organic matter, which is where the bacteria will grow and creates a urine type odor. Here's an area where the boots have been condensating, so there's water dripping from the subfloor and different types of mold growing on it. Here I've pulled down some of the insulation and you can see mold on the main beam and up on the joists, but not so much as we go up to the subfloor. But yet there's a lot of debris on the insulation, and some areas I see there's indications where mice have burrowed into it. In this distribution box, we've had so much water dripping that it's eroded the foil on the ducts. And areas, again, where there's no insulation, there is white mold that's growing up on the subfloor. Here's some insulation that's fallen down, and you can see where air movement occurs and where these black lines are. So our concern is that there's moisture in the crawl space. It causes mold to grow, like here on the ductwork, on the plumbing, and then the penetrations into the home are not sealed, and this is how the mold pollutants then get into the home. The coil looks clean. I don't see any mold growth. Maybe a little bit on this side panel, but I don't see any downstream in the distribution box. Here's an area where mice have nested in the fiberglass insulation, so much so that they've weighted the insulation down. And then, since the insulation is not in contact with the floor, then we start to get mold growing up on the subfloor. Here we have a mold that is well established on the wood, and the different colors, the white, the green, indicate different types of mold. Areas where there is no insulation, you can see the rusted metal and different areas where bacteria is growing. In North Carolina, there are two building codes for crawl spaces. Hopefully this video will help you decide which one is right for you. Typical open-vented crawl spaces in North Carolina have moisture, mold, insect, and radon issues. This is a concern because in the summer and winter air rises. This draws damp, moldy, smelly air from your crawl space into the living areas. One solution to this is a closed crawl space, which uses 100% ground coverage, subfloor or wall insulation, a drying mechanism or exhaust fan. A problem with plastic liners are the off-gassing of chemicals, micro-punctures created during installation, and the offensive urine odor caused by bacteria living underneath the liner. So which do you prefer, musty odors or chemical odors? Here at Indoor Environmental Systems, we prefer to use a foil foam insulation liner which covers the ground and the walls. This is the best for indoor air quality and energy efficiency, since there are no chemical odors, moisture, mold, insects, or radon, and it significantly reduces energy loss into the ground. The typical crawlspace remediation consists of mold removal, installing an insulation liner on the ground and walls, using a drying method such as a crawlspace supply vent, dehumidifier, or foundation vent exhaust fan. Mold removal depends on the extent of the contamination. Therefore, insulation may or may not be removed. Colonized mold is removed in preparation for a mold treatment. Clean Seal is a non-toxic, low-odor, quick-drying coating which prevents mold growth. It comes with a manufacturer's lifetime warranty that states no toxic microorganisms shall penetrate the treated surfaces, nor shall any such microorganisms or toxic gases emerge from beneath a treated surface. Crawlspace drying mechanisms. They consist of three: the crawlspace supply vent, a dehumidifier, or an exhaust ventilation fan. Crawlspace supply vents are a low cost and no maintenance option. Crawlspace dehumidifiers provide dependable humidity control, yet require maintenance. The foundation vent exhaust fan is great because it stops this rising of pollutants from the crawlspace into the living area. The exhaust fans or fan are placed in foundation vents and come with automatic temperature and humidity controls. Other considerations may be a crawlspace drain or sump pump, diverting rainwater, as well as landscape modifications. A crawlspace drain will release rainwater from below the liner and drain away water from plumbing breaks. A sump pump may be needed if flooding or rising water is a concern. Capturing rainwater and diverting it away from the home is helpful. A simple, low-maintenance option is to divert rainwater and termites by installing a metal and stone landscape border. It's beneficial to discharge water far away from your home and use a lawnmower safe pop-up. Indoor Environmental Systems provides code-approved R13 foundation wall insulated closed crawl spaces. Our crawl spaces are energy efficient and guaranteed to not condensate or grow mold. We have the best system for indoor air quality because of no mold, radon, volatile organic compounds, or insects, and it meets the North Carolina building
code. Indoor Environmental Systems provides indoor air quality since 1992. We are the oldest mold remediation company in Raleigh, Cary, Durham, Chapel Hill. We have best practices, lifetime warranties, and award-winning Angie's List customer service. Because of our experience, knowledge, and integrity, we can see the big picture and recommend what's best for you. Thank you from the crew at Indoor Environmental Systems.